What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG's back for a match preview. Although I've got to say, the match preview, as important as this game is kind of background noise in regards to this, because the press conference that Daniel Farke just did was probably the most interesting one he's done this year. And I thought the biggest headline from it would have been that Luke Ayling was the one that requested to leave. But nah, we saw Daniel Farke absolutely chef, saute, and fry Charlie Cresswell in public. And I want to get into that, people. But before I do, you know the drill, people. Please slap the like button. It is the best way to help out the channel. Subscribe, and of course, drop your comments and score predictions below. Thank you to Parrot House for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. And he's always supporting the channel. So thank you, Parrot House, for that. And of course, if you want to join as a member, please click the link in the description. Really does help me out and helps the channel out. And I love to all my existing members so far. Now, before I get into Daniel Farke's press conference, I just want to point out Luke Ayling's goodbye note, and it's on his Instagram, it's on Leeds United Twitter. It's not hard to find, but I just want to point out, because I've usually pointed out in the past when people do PR posts and it's not by them, it's by their PR team. I can tell that this is Luke, you know, and we've seen Luke do type before, even when we was going through a little sticky period in the Premier League and people were questioning him, and he came out with that statement on Instagram. You know, and then his wife's backing him up, and or was it Bamford's wife? And you know, you can tell when it's by a player and not, and you can tell with this one, this is Luke from his heart, and I absolutely love the message. It's a nice goodbye, sums it all up. Really does thank Marcelo Bielsa, as he should, as you know, a few of the other old guards should. Gave them a new lease of life, give them a new career. Who knows where they would have been without Marcelo Bielsa? I can pretty much guarantee. You can't guarantee, but I can assume that they would never have been Premier League players without him. So I can see why he was given a special mention there. But yeah, great message. If you want to see it, it's you know, I'm sure you've already seen it already, people, but it's on his Instagram, it's on Leeds United's Twitter. You know, just a good message, and I like that. I like when players do it themselves and don't leave it up to their PR teams. I can read through PR straight away. You know, and I'm sure a lot of you can now, seeing it, you know, over the years, especially without some of our players. But yeah, good luck to him, except for obviously if we ever meet Middlesbrough in the playoffs, if it ever comes to that, then, you know, all bets are off, mate. All bets are off. But yeah, all the best to Luke. But now we move on to the new chapter. That chapter is closed. It's time to turn the page. And Daniel Farke was talking today about the fullback search. And look, he gave the answer that is expected. You know, we can't come out and say we need this and that, you know, because before people, you know, clubs throw you a lifeguard, they'll throw you an anchor instead. So you can't come out and say we are desperate for a left back, we need a right back. You know, clubs won't help you out, and it does increase the price, you know, because, you know, supply and demand, isn't it? So I understand that with him not being so transparent in that way. And I hope that they don't keep on going on about this to journals, because there's no point. There really is no point talking about it, because he's not going to change his answer. And the thing is, the answers will only get more long-winded the more you ask him. You know, he says, well, I've already answered this before, but I'll tell you again. And then it's like an extra 10 minutes, isn't it? So I completely get Daniel Farke on that, in terms of looking at players. And it's like I said in the live stream, and shout out to everyone that watched that one. It's the one where I gave the cold reality of where Leeds United are. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch that one. It was a live stream, and it was just me explaining where we are. And Daniel Farke reiterates it here. There are many players who haven't played much, which is what I was saying in regards to players we will be looking at, and others who will be very expensive. He's not saying Leeds aren't trying to be active, but he's not making promises at this stage. If there's business done, we'll speak about it. And that's the way the 49ers operate anyway. Yeah, I mean, he talked about Luke Ayling, etc. JB is moving to Plymouth. And someone mentioned this in the live stream, but I don't really spend a lot of time on under 21s news, only because we've done under 21s and filled that squad out over the years under Victor Orta. I'm more interested in the first team affairs, and I know that it seems very tunnel vision like, but you have to focus on the first team first. But listen, JB, he's not getting a look in here. I think this is a low move. I think it's good for him. I do eventually see him being sold. If he's not going to get used in the champ at Leeds, he's certainly not going to be used at Premier League level if we go back up. So yeah. Gelhardt, he says he's not interested in loaning him out, but again, keep your eye on that one, because Gelhardt has been linked with several moves away. We've got some injuries, which lays into the whole Charlie Cresswell thing, but Byram trained today, so he may travel. Jan Poveda has an illness, but also trained. Poveda's never healthy, is he, man? There's no point. Gelhardt should travel. Strauch is missing, though. Cooper is a major down and hasn't trained, so I wouldn't expect to see him. I fully expect to see Ampadu and Rodon back together again, which then should allow Archie Gray to play in central midfield, barring if there's any other, injuries there. Maybe he has to go back to right back, who knows? But I fully expect Ampadu and Rodon to be their centre backs against Cardiff. Interestingly, though, and I want to point this out, Meslier back from suspension and will start. And this was something where in the press conference, and you have to hear it for yourself, but he said, thank God Meslier will be back and he will start. I was like, wow. I mean, if you're Klaassen, you must be thinking, whoa, was I that bad, Gaffer? I mean, was I that bad? I thought I did okay. And I'm not even Klaassen's, I'm not a Klaassen stan. I know a lot of you believe in him, but I got to say, I wouldn't be feeling very good if I was Klaassen after not really putting a foot wrong. And Meslier as well, it's very interesting. His red card was more egregious than Joe Rodon's, and Joe Rodon had to hold the bench after his red card. Meslier is just coming straight back in, different rules for different people, I guess. But yeah, it's amazing. But Meslier is back, and he will be in between the sticks. If it club me, okay, this is where it gets interesting. But just quickly, Farke says Liam Cooper's situation is different to Ayling's, even though his own deal is up at the end of the season. Says Cooper has been more involved and there's no issue there. So, I mean, as we've seen anyway, when there's Strauch out and if Liam Cooper is actually fit, he does play, doesn't he? So I can see what he's saying there. But here is the meat of it for me, people. And I need to take a breath on this one. Hold on. Daniel Farke spoke about Charlie Cresswell a couple of weeks ago, as he said in this press conference. But he didn't go into this kind of detail, people. And I'm going to give you my thought process as to why he went in this deep on Charlie Cresswell. Pause. Daniel Farke is a proud, stubborn man, as we've seen through this season. I'm telling you, well, I'm guessing, and I'm telling you, if Richard Cresswell doesn't put out that post saying, oh, it'd be nice to see Charlie get more minutes, Daniel Farke doesn't say half the things he says today. This was a public cooking by the manager. And I've said before, and I'll be consistent, there's no inconsistencies with me. I know a lot of people won't speak about an attitude issue here, but I'm gonna say this again. Like when Bielsa did it with Somerville and Drame, I think Farke went a little too far. And I'm somebody that likes managers to be open and honest, but there's also, you have to keep the relationship amicable. And I think today he may have went over the top. And I'm very interested to get your thoughts on this, but you've got to hear Daniel Farke speak in order to get the full context, because I'm only going to give you bits of it here. But he was basically saying Charlie Cresswell at the start of the year, he wanted the number 5 shirt. He got it. He expected to be in the top 2, as in starting games, and that his attitude in training has been somebody that is not fully committed. I'm telling you, if Richard Cresswell doesn't put out that post, Daniel Farke is not saying this, people. This Daniel Farke is shooting back. You shoot at me, I'm going to shoot you back. And that is what Daniel Farke has done today. He was talking about how Charlie, even though now, much like when Sonny Perkins at the start of the season, remember when we had a striker crisis, just because there's deficiencies in our defense with both Stroud, Cooper, doubtful, doesn't mean you're just going to play if you're not putting in the effort in training. He obliterated Charlie Cresswell today, people. And again, I look at it, like Klaassen here in Thank God Meslier's back. I think of it now with Richard and Charlie. Are they sitting there thinking, wow, really? Is this where we're going now? Is this what's happening? I just don't see any way back, people. I don't see any way back. And I mean, this is just little glimpse of it from Phil Hay noting it. Speaking about Cresswell, says he's aware that Cresswell is frustrated about his lack of minutes and wants to be in the side. I have to make the decisions best for Leeds United. I like him to be open. It's the right of the youth to be confident in self-assessment. And he's just talking there because he believes in himself. And I like that. I've always said that. I like players that believe in themselves and aren't happy being on the bench. I like when players say, no, I'm good enough to play. That's good. I want to hear that. But he says Cresswell won't be given away as a gift, but from Farke's point of view, Cresswell needs to accept the current pecking order and fight as hard as he can to get into the team, as he's been totally honest about that. Farke says that if a club meets the expectations for a player with his potential, Leeds would be willing to listen at this point. But at this point, he won't be a part of the squad at Cardiff. Guys, that relationship is dead. And that's why I said about that Birmingham game when he talked about he wanted extra creativity on the bench, so he put Pervader there against Birmingham City people. Come on. Nah, I think they've had a bust up behind the scenes. And that's speculation on my part, but there's no way that the relationship is amicable at this stage. No way. No way. Did he add on any more? Because I got a few more things. Long and short of Farquhar, this is Phil Hay, lacking focus and won't be involved until it improves. Need to accept he's beyond road and has to fight to impress regardless of that. Won't be allowed to leave easily, but Leeds will consider it if Cresswell asked to go and a bid is acceptable. Guys, there was other things that he was saying in this thing. And he even talked about, just quickly as well, he was asked about Luke Ayling being gone now. Will some of the younger players have to step up and be more vocal? And he straight away, you can just tell with everything with Daniel Farke, man. Like, he was talking about Nonto, Somerville, and Jorginho being too loud at times. What does that even mean? But yeah, I mean, look. Yeah, this guy has obviously got his own set of standards and everything else that he lives by. But man, I just think that he went a tad too far today in the public, cooking of Charlie Cresswell. He's basically said there's no future for him here. He really has. To say that somebody comes into training sometimes and because he knows he's not going to play, doesn't look engaged and doesn't look interested in training, that's damning. That's damning for a footballer. Look what Ten Hag with Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho's now gone back to Borussia Dortmund after a long standoff. Things like that just don't end well, people. It doesn't end well. But I'm so interested to hear your comments if you heard the full thing, because it blew me away. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that today. Didn't expect that. So, and I'm sure, I'm doing this recorded, but I'm sure that it's going to come up in a live stream and we can, give you discussion, give you points then as well. But man, I was blown away. No lie. No lie. I'm still frazzled now. To the game. Because there's a game. Look, it's simple. We have not traveled well recently, and Daniel Farke mentioned that he's not happy with the way that the results have gone away from home in the league lately, and we have to rectify that. Now, I don't care. Not Cardiff are in the middle, the ninth place. We need 3 points. No excuses. And the thing that I'm feeling, I can only speak for myself. Please give me your thoughts in the comments. But with everything that's going on, with Jed Spence being sent back, another fullback being let go, Luke Ayling to Middlesbrough as well, I just feel that he has to get everything right. See, you can make moves like that if we were in the top two, because then you're like, okay, there must be a method to his madness. But right now, we are lacking bodies, and the last couple of results haven't been good. Bar the last one before Peterborough. The Birmingham City game, we have to be better, especially away from home. And I feel like the pressure, if he doesn't get 3 points here, there's already dissenting voices in my comments alone talking about Daniel Farke not being the right man. He has to get a result here, people. He has to. So he's got to make sure that team selection is right. Like he said today, he's in the driver's seat in regards to Charlie Cresswell. And if Charlie is the better defender, then, no one's going to really know at this point because he's the one that's picking the team. And he's right about that. And that's what I will give him credit for that, because I've said before, I don't like his lack of self-accountability, but that is being self-accountable. He's basically saying, if it fails, it's on me. And I do respect that. But he has to get 3 points here. So people, score prediction. This is tough. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds because we have to get a win here. And I hope that the players know that as well. I hope that the players realize just how much we are having to fight for this. We are having to fight. Look, we haven't even touched 50 points yet. which is a disgrace really with the talent that we have in this team. Let's get the 3 points here and get into the 50s and see what the other teams do and go from there. So let me know. I'm going 2-1, people. Let me know your score. That is the preview. And wow, I mean, it's a preview of some sorts, but it's more about Charlie Cresswell, man. It's just crazy to me. Guys, I will be back live after the game against Cardiff. If there's any transfer news before then or any big rumors, I will be back tomorrow or even later on today. You know, turn on the notifications so you know when I'm going live. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I will see you in the next video, people. Peace out.